The way I broke into panel shows was I was an office runner at a general company, Talkback Thames, where you do all the various tasks of making tea, setting up meeting rooms, getting experience on other shows, and then when I came to the end of my contract, I was taken on to Nevermind the Buzzcocks to work on that. On the studio day, you will be the first one there to set up a production office, and as soon as the show's done, you take the tapes of the record straight to the edit to be digitised in. It's quite a fun job. Everyone sort of goes, oh, you're just making teas and doing what people tell you, but there's a certain freedom to it, which is quite nice, and a lack of responsibility. You know, the one thing I tell you being a researcher is be thorough. As lovely as Wikipedia is, always cross-reference it to make sure facts are correct, because we've had people on shows going, I didn't do that actually, and then there's a bit of a silence among the audience and people looking at each other behind the scenes. And then the script editor, who can also be known as associate producer, they're in the writer's room once a week with all the writers, because Buzzcocks we do one show a week, sometimes we'll film two. It's not a massive team really, you know, 3 researchers isn't a lot, but for a show like Buzzcocks that's been going for 26, 27 series, you don't need that many people. A show like League of Their Own, I think we had 2 execs, 1 series producer, 4 producers, 5 APs. It was just relentless, but that's because we filmed 11 shows in 9 days.
Reputation is what PR is all about, and basically, in short, it's trying to get people to say nice things about you. That's what it boils down to. In terms of careers and a route into PR, everybody on that slide has got a slightly different way in. No, it's not the kind of career that you have to do specific things to get in. Obviously, there's degrees and there's diplomas and all sorts you can do. However, I was a journalist. Strategy and tactics. This gets mixed up a lot, and I don't go into kind of great detail about this, but strategy is essentially the big idea. What's your approach going to be? What's your plan? What's your big plan to make this happen? Tactics are the things you will then use to do that. So the strategy might be that for the school, you're going to talk to a broad range of people, you're going to try and put across the positive.
Like when I first started, I went the route of, after I went to university, I went to film school at the National Film and Television School, and back then, this was like 1995, 96, the first classes that we had in editing there were still on 16mm film. So you'd go out, shoot some film, your sound would be recorded on a separate magnetic tape, and so you'd have to sync it up. It was the old-fashioned clapperboard thing, so you'd have to listen to the soundtrack, listen for the clap, and physically mark it on the magnetic tape. That's the thing that I always think about editing, is that there's no correct way to do it. It's sort of like, it's entirely dependent on what you've got to cut. So there is no correct answer to anything in editing. On day one, it's just literally a case of starting to watch rushes. Quite often the director, who's usually the only other person in the edit with me, they will have been the one that's on location, that's been on the shoot, that knows more or less what they want the rushes to achieve. End of week 5, that's when the bosses kind of want to start seeing something, because ultimately you're making a programme for either the BBC or Channel 4 or whoever it is, and they have their executive producers, their commissioners, the people who've actually said, yes, I want this programme made, and those are the people that you kind of have to please. So although editing is a creative job, you're kind of always answering to these higher powers at the channel kind of thing.